Hey, everybody, middle of the week, rolling right along here on If You Don't Like That, my least favorite 4 to 5 weeks of the calendar year. I hate the next 4 to 5 weeks. Always used to plan my vacations around this time of year. As soon as we got towards the end of July and that calendar hit August, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I don't get caught up in the NFL training camp news other than injuries. Yes, I'm happy that there's a preseason game tomorrow because it signals that we're finally closer to having football. But, get me to September, please. Get me to Labor Day weekend. Get me to the start of college football, the U.S. Open, right? The NFL first game of the year on Thursday, followed up by the stupid game in Brazil. Then we get to the Sunday NFL rolling right into Monday Night Football. You know, is week one of the NFL one of the greatest weekends of the year? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Week one of the National Football League season to me is like a freaking national holiday. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yep. Dog days of summer. That's exactly right. Dog days of summer. And as we translate that into the NBA, August, and I know that we're not in August yet, that's Friday, but August is a very slow month historically for the NBA. It's when most of the executives go on vacation. Everything's very quiet. And then it really gets ramped up September 1st. Players start coming into town. They start working out. They start scrimmaging on their own. So August, you can have trades in August, but generally speaking, it's mostly September. All right? Mostly September. So I'm wondering if you think the Kings are done, or do you think that they're just taking a pause? Do you think that the Jonathan Kuminga story is going to, I think he's going to end up staying with the Warriors. That's my take. I would not part ways with Keon Ellis. I love Keon Ellis's upside. I love how he fits with the team. Do I think that Kuminga would have upside? Of course. But there are some red flags there that make me a little nervous. And how many basketballs are the Kings playing with this year? Like, he needs to have the ball. He needs to have the ball. I mean, I don't know how that fits right now with the Kings. And I don't like the makeup of this Kings roster right now. They're too old. I mean, I'm looking at the West. They're not in the same neighborhood as Oklahoma City, Denver, Minnesota. I mean, those three teams right there, they're just not. I don't think that they're a top 8 team in the West. They're an old team. Like, I don't like that. You know, if you're going to be bad, and bad's probably not the right word. I don't think they're going to be bad. If you're going to be non-relevant or irrelevant, not non-relevant, if you're going to be irrelevant, if you're not going to be in the mix, then go young. Like, start with youth. All right? I don't like the roster right now. When I'm looking at the future, what's the future of this team? Right? You now have a 32-year-old starting point guard. You've got a guy that's 36 as your small forward. Then you got Zach LaVine and his monster contract at his age. Just like, now you're going to add Russell Westbrook? Really? Why? Those are the rumors, which, again, hasn't happened. I don't understand it, you know? I don't understand it. I understand you can't go from a non-playoff team to a top 4 team overnight unless you get very lucky, but I'm not crazy. And I thought, Jerry said it very well yesterday. Ryan asked him what teams did improve the most and what teams did not. I'm paraphrasing. And Jerry talked about the Denver Nuggets. And I agree with Jerry. And then he mentioned the Kings on the backside that, that he doesn't think they've really had a good summer. He's very high on Nick Clifford. He thinks that they need to find Nick a way to play at least 20 minutes a night. See, to me, if we get to, let's say we get to the All-Star break, and the Kings are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever, I'm playing Nick 30 minutes a night. I'm playing Reynaud a lot. I don't care. I don't care if I don't win another game, because the draft next year, it looks very, very deep, and you can hit home runs at the top of the draft. I'm okay with that. Get a stud next year in the draft. Build it around Nick. Build it around Murray, right? Build it around Keon Ellis. Build it around your young players. And let's go, right? Let's go. That's my take. That's my take. What would you like to see him do? The current team is a roster that a 12-year-old would build in 2K. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not crazy about it. I'm really not. And I think Dennis Schroeder will be good for the Kings in the short term. I mean, he's a legitimate point guard. But he's not the future. Right? When I'm thinking of the future, I'm thinking of, like, Minnesota has got a tremendous future. Oklahoma City has a tremendous future. Houston, San Antonio, all look like they have really good futures, especially San Antonio. Like, where's the Kings' future right now? I'm not crazy about it. And I was very, very interested to hear what Jerry had to say with Rhino yesterday on the Kings court. And Jerry makes a lot of sense, as he always does. I would never tell that straight to Jerry's face, because I don't want Jerry to get a big head. But Jerry normally makes a lot of sense. And what he said yesterday, I think, spot on. And I think Jerry, when it comes to the Kings, is as knowledgeable as anyone. And I mean that. I put Jerry at the very top of the list at number one. I don't think there's anyone that's more knowledgeable about the Sacramento Kings than Jerry Reynolds. I take what he says as gospel when it comes to the Kings, because he's normally right on the money. What do I think about De'Aaron Fox's future? I'm not as crazy about his future as a lot of other people. I'm just not. Keon upside, Kuminga upside, but maybe a few red flags. Go with no red flags. Totally agree with you. Totally agree. Zach Lowe expressed when discussing the Kings that he couldn't score things up this bad if he tried. Since the Beam team, it was disheartening to hear. That is, I didn't hear Zach Lowe say that, and I have a lot of respect for Zach Lowe. Zach Lowe is very knowledgeable. I didn't see that. That's not good. That's not good. We got to get that. We need a new term. Beam team's gone. I'd actually like to see the entire beam gone. Like it had its moment. Move on. All right? Move on. That's my opinion. Start something new. That's just my opinion on that. Go in a different direction. Beam team's gone. First of all, that was a one-year wonder, okay? And the beam was nice and all. Move on, okay? Move on. Like, you're going to light the beam 40 times last year and you're going to be excited over that? Forget that. All right? Move on. Dennis, you want to light the beam? Go ahead, Dennis. Go light the beam. It's time for something else. Win some freaking games. That's what I want. Win some freaking games. All right? Win some games. And you'll win by going to Bennett's. Prime Seafood and Steaks at Bennett's, whether it is the Sacramento Roseville or the West Side Grill location. And don't forget about their Taste of Summer. So many excellent options for you with their Taste of Summer menu. And you will not only enjoy their great food, but you will save a lot of money. All right. And then there's the Monday wine and dinner at Bennett's as well. For just $65, enjoy 2 entrees off your regular menu, 2 salads, and a bottle of wine. Great for a date night or dinner with friends. You got a lot of favorites: the savory short ribs, the grilled salmon, steak frites, or the grilled mahi tacos. It's outstanding. Outstanding. It's a full course experience at an unbelievable value. Again, don't forget, if you're looking for something to do on a Monday, it is great. And you also have the Bennett's Bubbles and Brunch on the weekends. Something for everyone at Bennett's. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Also, check out their Taste of Summer entrees that are available for you at a tremendous price. That's bennettsrestaurants.com. Prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's. How are you tonight? You doing good? Doing good? Dennis wants the beam lit. All right. Says Andre says, Grant, I think Keegan's going to improve his offensive game this season. I want it to be more consistent. That's what I would like. I'd like to see that. I really would. Every time I go out with Kings gear, everyone says light the beam. Is that kind of corny after a while or not? I'm just asking. When we get a new winning team, we get new mojo and a new mantra. I'm okay with that. Again, it's not, I don't stay up at night thinking about should they light the beam or not? It was fun. It was good. I don't know. Is it time to move on from that? I'm just asking. All right. What's the worst tech issue you ever remember having to deal with while calling a game? You know, when you do this for a living, you're going to have technical issues. I've had several in my 32 years of calling the NBA, both on radio and TV. Not very often, once in a while, the video would go out. You'd have to switch to a radio call, or your producer would say the audio has got a problem, or, you know, you just roll with it. Like, I learned early on in my broadcasting career, don't let technical difficulties affect your performance. Don't get frazzled by it. Maintain your composure, stay calm, because there's nothing you can do about it. That the times that I used to worry about it the most is when I was early in my career and I was a one-man band, and I used to have to gather the equipment before I left, get to the arena when I was doing hockey, set up the equipment, make sure the phone line was good, connect with the station. Sometimes you'd get to the arena and the phone line was not working. And then you'd have to, those were stressful times because I'm by myself and they're counting on me to broadcast the game. And those were, and you know, you didn't have cell phones back then. So it's not like you just get on your cell phone and call. No, you know, I mean, it was, that can be a little stressful at times. Did I admire Kevin McHale from a coaching standpoint? He was a class act for sure. I loved Kevin McHale. Funny guy, great guy. I was a Kevin McHale fan. Absolutely. Definitely a fan. And I would love being around Kevin McHale for his press conferences. And he came to the NBA broadcast meetings one year, and he told a story about Bill Walton. Rest in peace, Bill. Love Bill. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. And he had all of us in tears. And he was one heck of a player, wasn't he? Boy, he was a good player. He was so freaking good. So good. All right. Hey, if you want to get in on the program, give me a call. You got the QR code right above my shoulder. We'll love to have you on here on If You Don't Like That. Here is the link. the open forum link that you can use as well. And I'd be happy to take your phone call and talk about whatever you would like right here on If You Don't Like That. Hope you had a chance to check out the King's Court with Rhino. If not, every day at 3 o'clock right here on If You Don't Like That. Mike Bibby is trying to get Demarcus Cousins' number retired. Why would Demarcus Cousins' number be retired? I didn't see that. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why? First of all, his number is never going to be retired in Sacramento. Never. Nor should it. I mean, for those that think that Demarcus Cousins' number should be retired in Sacramento, what are you thinking about? Seriously. There's no way that's ever going to happen. Never. And again, why would Mike Bibby's number would be retired before Demarcus Cousins? Demarcus isn't even on the list of consideration. Like you wouldn't even think about that. Stupid. His jersey ought to be burned, and nobody should ever. I mean, seriously. Like, I don't even know what to say to that, Dennis. I really don't. Where'd you see that, Dennis? I didn't even see that. I find that hard to believe, but you're pretty reliable with your information, so I'm not going to say that didn't happen. I just like common sense would tell me like why, right? Like how did that happen? I don't get it. I don't understand. There are a lot of things that I see that I just roll my eyes over. That one is just stupid. Really stupid. It's on X. Well, yeah, there are a lot of things on X that are made up, that are from burner accounts, fake accounts. Like, I don't pay attention to that. Grant, I know you're staying fresh and prepared for an NHL position. Any chance Vegas could be an option in the future with the Knights? Or is that position well embedded and taken for now, it seems? It's a good question. I would never, ever go after a job that somebody currently has, and they are very well positioned with their radio and TV. If their radio or TV talent left, I would certainly throw my hat in the ring. But I would never go after a job because I have a contact. And, listen, I know the number one person in the organization other than the owner. I've never even contemplated going to George, and I would never do that. I just wouldn't. First of all, George would say no, because George is very loyal, and that's why I love him. I know that. And number two, it's unethical in my opinion. I just don't work that way. All right? I just don't work that way. I don't know what's going on with the text about Deuce Mason attacking me. Like, why would he attack me for? Like, you're going to attack me? Really? Is he just trying to get clicks or what? Seriously. Like Deuce Mason is attacking me? Is that true? Like, why would he attack me for? I have other things to worry about. I have nothing against Deuce. I've never had anything against him or Morgan. Like, why would they attack me for? I've got nothing against them. Never had a problem with them. Whatever. Unbelievable. All right? Unbelievable. Seriously. Nothing surprises me anymore. I don't like the one thing about this profession, and I really mean this, criticism doesn't bother me. You use the word attack, right? Like, what does that mean? I would like you to be the play-by-play for the Raiders. Thank you. I appreciate that. Clicky Sacramento Media. If you have to attack for your term, people that you're competing against, you know what that means, right? Like, you understand what that means. Do I have to explain that to you? I think you get it, right? Like, I would not go on the internet or a radio show and attack my competition. Like, what for? Like, what good does that do? Just, it's amateurish. It's what it is. It's amateurish. Amateurish. Radio and TV talent is paired to that position, just like Cage Decay and the Kings work. Got it. Are most positions paired that way with NBA teams? No. Grant, I really think you're going to like your rookie, Cameron Scatabo. I agree with you. I think I am going to like him. He wins everywhere he goes. He's a local kid. He should be fun to watch. I'm rooting for him big time. You know? Big time. Really, big time. The Panthers are the closest NHL team to where you live now. Are you acquainted with their current announcers? Not personally, but I know of them and watch their games. I don't listen on the radio, but I've watched their games because, I mean, they're a tremendous team. Their fan base is not very good. I got to tell you, that's the one thing, even though they're back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. But yeah, I watched the Panthers play. Dennis said, did I tell you I saw Cam at a Sac State during a playoff game? No, you didn't tell me that. You know, the Giants to me are one of those teams that I think now this is an if Jackson Dart ends up being a good quarterback, this kind of reminds me, and again, understand where I'm coming from when I say this. This kind of reminds me of the Giants in the late 70s, early 80s, when they drafted Phil Simms out of Morehead State and then drafted Lawrence Taylor. And it took a while, but the rest is history. Abdul Carter, from what I understand, looks like an absolute monster on the field. Now, again, it's just practice, so I'm not getting carried away. If Dart can be a good quarterback, if he can end up being a franchise-type quarterback, and Carter is going to be as good as everyone says, that changes your franchise immediately. Immediately. No, I was not a fan of Carmelo Anthony's game. He never made anyone better. Never, ever made anyone better. As an individual talent, yes, a fan of his game, but team-wise, no. No. Not at all. Do I like Brian Daboll? I do like Brian Daboll. I think he can be and will be a very good head coach. I don't trust the Giants' offense, but I feel more comfortable on the defense. They have maybe the best defensive front in the National Football League. Their back end got better, I think, but I'm with you. Their defense could be a top 10 defense. I'm with you on the offense. Their offensive line's not very good, and I just don't understand why it's bad year after year after year. I don't think it's going to be bad. It's just not very good. Am I unhappy with the Yankees' moves? I've been unhappy with Brian Cashman for a long time. I don't understand why he's still the general manager of the team. I really don't. Hey, don't forget about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. You've got the number on your screen, the website, or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Remember, folks, as I said, they're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. Glad to have you with us right here on If You Don't Like That. Don't forget about Rhino and the King's Court every day at 3 o'clock right here on If You Don't Like That. Am I concerned about Malik Neighbors' lingering toe injury? Absolutely. Yes. It's been bothering him all summer. And if that flares up during the regular season, I mean, if you have a toe injury, you can't be effective. So, yes, that is a big concern because without him, the Giants' offense comes to a screeching halt. They come to a screeching halt. It is a great start, a young core, if Dart is the guy. No, I was not a Hulk Hogan fan. I was an anti-Hulk Hogan, but it wasn't really part of my life. I've answered this, but if you're joining us late, what do I think about the Kuminga situation as it is today? I think he's going to end up staying in Golden State. I would not part ways with Keon Ellis if that's what they want. Tristan, I'm not even going to answer that. How much is Bob Melvin to blame for the Giants slide? Not a fan of extending him. I like Bob Melvin. I've always thought he's a good manager. You tell me something. When did their slide begin, Sean? What did it coincide with? Rafael Devers. Boston couldn't wait to get rid of him. He was a pain in the ass. He was a problem. And so Boston, who got widely criticized for moving him, the minute he left the clubhouse, the Red Sox got a lot better. And the minute he walked into the Giants clubhouse, they got a lot worse. Coincidence? I think not. I'll just leave it at that. What do you think? I don't like red flags. I'll stay away from them if I'm running a professional franchise. Not worth it. I don't care how talented they are. Dennis, I've been seeing a lot of rumors about this, that the Warriors want a first round unprotected, and the Suns have offered 4 second-round picks. From what I have read from people like Shams Charania and others that I respect, is that the Suns' package for Kuminga is more than the Kings. Okay? But again, that's just being reported. Do I fly to Giants home games? I used to all the time. All the time I used to. I haven't recently. The Suns don't own a first-round pick. Either way, the Kings win if Kuminga is moved. How do the Kings win if Kuminga is moved? Dennis, explain that. Why would the Kings win either way if he's moved? Good job, Colton Miller. Local product. 3 years, $66 million. $42 million guaranteed. Good for him. Good for him. Always like to see local kids persevere and do well. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, what else do you want to talk about? I love the questions right here in the comments. Keep us rolling on a slow time of the year in professional sports. I mean, other than baseball, and I'm not into baseball with the way the game's played, it just bores me. A shame that the A's dropped 20 straight, screwed their season, had a chance early on. Early on doesn't mean anything. It's a 162-game season. It's not an April and May season. Nobody's ever won the pennant in April or May, but you can lose the pennant in April or May. Yes, it was great waking up to see prayers being answered and no damage to Hawaii. Absolutely. That was scary. That was scary because the Suns will have to use all of their picks. I disagree with you, Dennis. Okay? I disagree with you. Picks aren't anything unless you pick the right player. And if you end up getting a very good player, then it was worth it. So I don't agree with that at all. Yep. Great to hear about Colton and the Raiders about time. It is great. Absolutely. Low damage, don't want to misspeak. Okay, yes, but it wasn't a catastrophe. And when we think of tsunamis, we think of catastrophes. So I think that's the right way to say it. All right. Okay. Demarcus was on Mike Bibby's podcast saying that he feels he has earned his stripes for his jersey to be in the rafters. Again, it's just one more example of how delusional this man is. It just shows you how delusional. He did nothing but wreck the Sacramento Kings franchise. He wrecked it. He took a bad franchise and made it worse. He wrecked coaches' careers. He had most of the players not wanting to play with him. There were a few exceptions. He wrecked the franchise while he was there. He was nothing but a headache. Period. Period. I've talked a lot about this. I don't know why the Kings would still be interested in Russell Westbrook. It makes absolutely no sense to me with where the team is. Michael, I am not in the memorabilia. Said, have I collected any memorabilia over the years? I have two pieces of memorabilia. I was at the last game at Yankee Stadium, Sunday night, game 162. I was at the last game at Yankee Stadium. And I bought a ticket. I'll never forget this. I was at the Giants Cincinnati Bengals game because I was in New York for the NBA broadcast meetings, which were starting the next day. Or maybe they had just concluded. I can't remember, but that's what I was in New York for. So I'm at the Giants Bengals game. And I'm like, I got to get a ticket for you. I got to go to the game tonight. So I went from Giant Stadium into Manhattan, got on the subway, went to Yankee Stadium, and scalped a ticket for $200, upper deck. Now, there were people saying, watch out if you scalp tickets. There are a lot of fake tickets on the street. And I had one guy come up to me and he said, listen, because he was doing the same thing as I was. He goes, listen, if you get a ticket, don't give the guy the money until you get to the turnstile. And they were using the, whatever. I don't even know what the hell it's called, but they weren't ripping the ticket. They scanned the ticket. So I got a ticket for $200. I said, okay, but you got to walk up to, and as soon as I knew the ticket was legit, I handed the guy the $200. I'm along the first baseline in the upper deck, kind of between the foul pole and first base, closer to first base than the foul pole. So I start talking to the guy next to me. The guy next to me lives in Hong Kong, from England, but lives in Hong Kong. Landed in New York that day. Came all the way to New York because his dream was to go to Yankee Stadium. That's been his dream his whole life. And I'm sitting next to this guy on the last game at Yankee Stadium. And I'm thinking, man, that is so awesome. That's great. And we had a ball. And right in front of me, the seat, the top of the seat had like a hole in it in the hard plastic. Because that's what the seats were. They were very hard plastic. And at the end of the game, I ripped off a piece of about that big of the blue seat, and I still have that today. And the other memorabilia I have is the ticket for Game 7 of the Rangers in 1994 winning the Stanley Cup Final, because I entered Madison Square Garden with Chris Mad Dog Russo at about 11:30 in the morning because I watched him do his show, and he didn't ask me for anything. I just walked in with Dog. And then Chris had someone get the ticket for me at about 6:30 from Will Call. So the ticket was never scanned, or they didn't scan it back then. They tore it in half. I still have the ticket in its entirety, not ripped in half, from the 94 Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7. Yeah, I saw the Gilbert Arena story for having or hosting high level poker games at his house. I did see him getting arrested for that. Do I also find it very unprofessional business how Tyrone Corbin was our coach after Michael Malone got fired? Listen, Tyrone Corbin is one of the great people I've ever met in all of my years of covering the Sacramento Kings. He was in an impossible, bad situation. Okay? He was actually a very good coach when he was the head coach of the Utah Jazz, and I rooted for him all the time. So that was just a bad situation all the way around. But, he didn't have a choice. Really. What a good man Tyrone Corbin is. Love that man. Love Tyrone. Love the man. Demarcus didn't even play in the playoffs. Of course he didn't. He had no chance of getting Sacramento to the playoffs because he was just too destructive. It's hard. I don't understand why we still talk about this guy in 2025. Like, I don't understand it. No, I don't have any Oliver Miller stories. I really don't. ESPN fired Shannon Sharpe. Why did they have Shannon Sharpe in the first place, Dennis? Why was he hired to begin with? Who was the best Kings coach? Who was the worst? Well, Rick Adelman was really good. I mean, obviously, but he also had great talent. I was a big fan of a lot of the coaches, to be honest. I hate trying to rank them because I liked so many of the coaches. It's hard for me to say because Jerry said this yesterday. Greg Popovich didn't become a bad coach when he won 20 games in a year. It's because he didn't have the players. You have to have the players. The NBA is a talent-based league. It's just the way it is. Yes, I've met Zach Lowe. Sam Amick, great. Very well connected. Does a great job. What was the best player performance you've called as a broadcaster? Klay Thompson scoring 37 points in the third quarter against Sacramento. Hands down, not even a close second, to be honest with you. Thank you, Grant, for all you do. My power is out, but I can still get you on my phone. Awesome. I love that. Thank you very much. It's awesome. Don't forget, back here tomorrow. Not sure if I'm going to do 7 or 8. Probably going to do 7 again. But don't know for sure, but probably 7 o'clock. You got the Kings Court with Ryan in Sacktown. So don't forget that at 3 o'clock right here. And don't forget about Sunrise Landing. If you're thinking of relocating, you go to CalusaSunrise.com and you can check out everything at Sunrise Landing from Blazona Development adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club, and no Mellorews, no homeowners, easy to get to, whether you're coming on I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. Make sure you check out CalusaSunrise.com and you will get all the information on Sunrise Landing. Love the questions right here on If You Don't Like That. Kings 35-point comeback in Chicago, one of my favorite games that I've ever called. I watched that on YouTube because Ryan the other day. Did he play that on YouTube? The 37-point third quarter? Dave Yeager, excellent coach. Love Yeags. Luke Walton was a downgrade in your opinion? He really was not. Who is the nicest player that I've met in any sport and who was the worst? Barry Bonds was the worst by far. I don't have the nicest. I've met a lot of nice, great people. Whether it's hockey, football, basketball. I mean, Mike Singletary was as nice as you can be when he played for the Bears. Neil Lomax, quarterback of the Cardinals. You won't meet a nicer guy. Roger Craig, as nice as a guy as you'll meet. I mean, I'm Randy Cross, as nice of a guy as you'll meet. Brent Jones, same way. Tim Brown, A+ across the board. Great guy. Love Tim Brown. Great guy. Just great guy. I mean, I've met so many. Like the list would be in well over 100. Well over 100. Wayman Tisdale, A++++. I mean, I've been blessed. No, I've been very lucky. I've met Vlade Divac, Peja, Scott, all those guys. I mean, many, many, many great players and great people. Japanese food or Thai food? Japanese. Any Reggie Thea stories? I got a lot of Reggie Thea stories. Reggie's a great man, and I love him. I'll do it another day, though, all right? Love Reggie. All I will tell you is that when I first moved to Sacramento, there was nowhere to go at night. There were two places. Seriously. Roseville didn't exist. Nothing existed. I mean, I'm being honest with you. In the late 80s, there was nothing in Sacramento. Nothing. There was nowhere to eat after like 9 o'clock at night, except for TGIF Fridays, where most of the players on the team went. That's where if you wanted to find a Kings player, you went to Fridays on Howe Avenue. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. Or you went to the Peppermill Diner on Arden Way. That's it. Nowhere else. Nowhere else. If it was after a game and you wanted to find a Kings player, you went to the Peppermill or you went to Fridays, because there was nowhere else. And I'm not exaggerating. And there was a nightclub right behind Peppermill in that mall across from Arden Fair Mall on the other side of Arden called Confetti's. And I used to go there with Reggie and Harold Presley. And that's when I really became friendly with Reggie, because I had not started doing the Kings games yet. I was a sports anchor on Channel 31 that nobody watched. And I got to know Reggie that year. And being with Reggie at Confetti's was a trip. That's all I'll say. What a great man. Love Reggie. Madden, did I ever meet him? I actually interviewed him a couple of times during the Raiders preseason games on television. The Peppermill. Yep. Boy. Going out to Sunrise Boulevard was going out to the sticks, literally. Yes, it was. Yes. What was the most interesting place that I saw a player? You mean like off the court interesting? I'd have to think about that. Yes, I do keep in touch with Vinny Del Negro. Another great guy. Yes, another great guy. Most interesting place that I've seen a player. That's hard to say. Hard to say. All right. Tomorrow, we're going to do it again. Right here on If You Don't Like That. Folsom was a little town that if you blink, you missed it. El Dorado Hills didn't even exist. Seriously, did not exist. We can go on and on and on. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow right here on If You Don't Like That. Don't forget Kings Court tomorrow with Rhino, 3 o'clock. Stay safe, everybody. Appreciate you. Bye-bye now.